I please welcome to the stage Shikha Patalia.
Well, good afternoon, everybody. And I'm thinking back to the day when I was here as a finalist and Michelle was interviewing me. And I had no idea what an amazing forum this is and what a great platform this would be for me and for the many inspiring women that I have met along the way in my journey since 2019. Huge thanks to Jacqueline, the original inspirational lady who started this 31 years ago and has changed so many lives. And I think all the women in this room today, whether you're a finalist or a winner, this is an exciting chapter for you today, because if you're like me, you will value this day and it will become part of your life and will help you to grow further and deliver that passion. How many times have we heard that word passion today? Because it is so much about passion, dreaming big and making it all happen. So I'm Shikha Patalia, I'm a doctor. Came to this country as a child with hardly any English, but had a dream. I'd always wanted to be a doctor. My parents are here tonight, this afternoon, and they will tell you that even as a child, I would pull apart my dolls and pretend they were patients and be operating on them and injecting them.
Kerry, you need to investigate.
So I graduated as a doctor from Manchester University and became a GP and was doing, what I had been trained to do, but always had a passion to do more. I have been very blessed and very fortunate to have had amazing female role models in my life. So even as a child, I had parents and grandparents who valued a daughter, a girl child, which, if come from South Asia, isn't always the case, but always valued and appreciated. I had aunties who were doctors who inspired me. So I thought, I need to be doing more than being just a GP. And then I was really very, very fortunate that I have an amazing husband who supported me in the dreams that I had and propelled me to actually go further than I thought I was capable of going. So a lot of what I have achieved today, I have to say a huge thanks to my husband, Sanjay. So why did I win this award in 2019? Because with Sanjay, I knew that England has an amazing National Health Service. It does wonderful things, but it could do them better. General practice, the core, the jewel in the crown of the health service needed help to survive. So we started doing things differently. We brought in systems and processes to support small practices, bigger practices, struggling practices, workforce crisis, doctors who wanted to retire, wanted to give up, wanted to emigrate, made it different, made it better, made it enjoyable again. So now, across the Northwest, we are supporting, looking after over 170,000 patients in the NHS, keeping over 40 practices open, surviving, thriving, some of which would have been at real risk of closure. But that wasn't enough. I could see the landscape changing. We were leading busier lives, different lives, making different choices. Technology was advancing. And whether we were busy at home, busy at work, busy at play, we were ignoring our health. So we were all busy doing lots of other things. We're getting our cars serviced, renewing our insurance, making sure our appliances were working okay, but not looking after our own well-being, our own health. And the NHS was very busy. There wasn't everything that the NHS could do for us. So I had a vision to set up a private healthcare facility. So I had that dream 15 years ago, 2 years in the planning and the envisioning, And in 2010, we opened Pall Mall Medical, a purely private facility. And the dream of that was to empower women, to empower men, to empower anyone and everyone who would listen to take care of themselves. So now we provide what I feel, and I hope you all agree, are amazing services in the medical and cosmetic sectors. Raising awareness is really important for us, so we need campaigns to tell you about bowel cancer, the importance of breast cancer, regular screening before everybody else is screening, because there's not enough knowledge about what is available and what you can do, because earlier diagnosis means earlier treatment, and that saves lives. It's as simple as that. Earlier diagnosis saves lives. So doing all of those things, making a difference, bringing a business and an entrepreneurial kind of angle and perspective to healthcare is what got me my Inspiring Women's Award. So thank you very much, Jacqueline. Thank you. But because I've been blessed and been fortunate and been in the right place at the right time to be able to achieve all of these things, I have two amazing organizations that I lead, SSB Health and Pall Mall Medical. And I'm really proud to say that both of those organizations are primarily women-led. So I would say over 80% of our employees are women. Around the senior table, around that board table, the majority of the individuals are women in leadership positions around that board table. And it's all on merit. It's not about favoritism. It's not about being selective. It's about recognizing talent, nurturing talent, and giving everybody an equal opportunity. That is what I am passionate about. And I'm delighted to see so many women here equally passionate as I am, empowering each other. And this is a brilliant platform. I mean, I've made such great friends over the last few years, having become part of the Inspiring Women movement. And this year, proud to be a sponsor. I'm proud to say that all of the women who will be winners today will receive a free women's health check from Pall Mall Medical. And I would urge you all to please do book your appointment. Our health checks are amazing. They include all the normal things. And of course, as I was saying, technology has really moved on. And earlier diagnosis, for those of you who have thought about it or have been worried about it, the tests that are available now, it's just a simple blood test for ovarian cancer, just a simple test to see if you've got the gene for breast cancer. Just take that decision, make that call, send that email, look after yourself and do it. Do it for yourself, do it for your family, do it for your loved ones. So all the winners, please do take that up. And all the guests here as well, please note there is a voucher on the back here as well. So everybody here today, do make use of the discounts that are available for you to use for being part of the awards today. So thank you very much for giving me the opportunity, my little sales pitch. Stay safe, everybody, stay healthy and look after yourselves. Thank you very much indeed.
This is the award for Entrepreneur. Now, this recognises those women who take that leap of faith and develop businesses which benefit the economy. Now, this is open to newly established businesses that are between 1 and 5 years. We have 3 nominees in this category. The first, I will ask you to turn your attention to the screen.
I'm Heather Glover from Scarlet Lingerie, a business that was set up between myself and my friend Kate Maurice in 2021.
So tell us a bit about Scarlet.
Basically, I've been through breast cancer twice, and without going into lots of detail, I ended up losing both my boobs to the disease, didn't have reconstruction, couldn't have reconstruction. Then we had the pandemic. One thing goes on, and I didn't get along with prosthetics, which are the fake boobs that you put in your bra, which many women do, and it's a personal individual choice. But having a flat chest as a woman doesn't really mean that you should have a lack of underwear, because you don't need a bra. But actually, we grow up putting on bras as young women in this country, and there's a lot of very young women who are dating, who are starting relationships, and they've got nothing apart from little sporty crop tops. I've found that out obviously since my own journey, but I asked my friend Kate, who is actually a trained commercial pilot, but she loves to sew. So I asked her if she would make me a flat bra. She'd never done that before, but she'd done lots of alterations of my clothes when I was going through treatment. And she made this beautiful, lacy, bralette-shaped bra, which became the Scarlett, because it's a bralette for scars. And when I put it on, I thought I was fine. I thought it was strong, and I was getting on, and I was getting back to health and everything. When I put this on, I was just in tears, but good tears. I felt incredible. I felt like I wanted to run outside and just show the world, because I felt gorgeous and I couldn't believe it. And I thought, well, everybody else needs to be able to feel this way. If this is how I feel, and I thought I was healing and emotionally and psychologically and everything, much better. And that's where it began, really.
But it's a big leap going from something that makes you feel good and having a friend like Kate who has those sewing abilities to then decide, do you know what, we're going to launch this as a company. That's quite a step, especially after you've been ill.
Yeah, massive step. And it's still a huge learning curve, to be fair, because I'm a nurse by background. And I suppose that comes into it because I wasn't able to work through my chemotherapy twice. So that took me away from my patients for a good chunk of time, twice over. And then I got back to work 2 weeks before the pandemic. And of course, I had to get sent back home to Shield. But it's just in me to want to help people find solutions and help themselves and make people feel better. And I think in a way with Scarlett, I kind of get that nursing, helping people, really. And also it was just one of those things. Neither of us have got a business background, so it was a big leap of faith. And just the friends and family and supportive people around us that thought that we'd got a really good idea and product and go for it. So we did, without really knowing too much about the whole business and retail world.
Which is an eye-opener for anyone who's tried to get into retail. Wow, that in itself is quite a culture shock. So you started with the one design that was made for you, and by the time you launched, then were you still just working with the one design?
We had two designs. So we had the Heather that was obviously named after me, and we had a factory in Manchester called Ella and Me that launched our first product. So the other one was called the Ella. So we just had those two products in two different colours, which was very limited. But you know what? It was more than was already out there. So once we got orders coming in and some money coming in and we got some investors, we were able to then expand our range and introduced a third Scarlett design and also a camisole with a lot more colours. And there's so much we'd want to do, but it costs so much money. So
yeah, it does. It does indeed. And there'll be a lot of people watching this that will be able to relate to that. So what's the response been like then?
Amazing, unbelievable. I mean, we didn't actually expect to be international as soon as we launched, but we are an online company. So it basically, we've got customers in New Zealand, in Australia and America and Canada and other parts of Europe, which obviously we weren't thinking on an international level. That's another learning curve, especially when boutiques and shops in other countries are saying, we want to stock your product. And we're going, that's great. What does that mean with Brexit and everything? But no, the messages that we get from partners, from parents, from women themselves, just say that literally can make you cry because they feel exactly how I felt, how they can't believe for 4 years or however long they've been wanting this piece of lingerie and how it's made them feel. And you just think it's a no-brainer. It should be available. You know, these women have been through such a lot, and it's not fair that they don't have that choice. So that is a huge reward. Every message that we get like that, we just love.
So what's next for Scarlett? And are you looking at introducing additional ranges?
Yes, swimwear, which I've been chomping at the bit at from the very beginning, because that's another really difficult. And actually, you go out in your swimwear more than you do in your underwear. And some women choose not to wear a bra because they don't have to. And yes, that is a big bonus. But swimwear, you know, I want to wear something that's specifically made for my flat chest, that looks gorgeous, that's not about disguising, it's about embracing and enhancing. And but again, it's slightly different, making swimwear to lingerie and the stretch of the fabric and all these things I don't know anything about. So we've been working with the patterns for the most of this year so far, and we're just waiting for a special machine for the stitching of swimwear to arrive, and then we can get going with that. And that's really exciting because customers keep getting in touch with us saying, when is the swimwear ready? And my holiday's looming and I want the swimwear ready. So yeah, it's exciting.
So you've got a big year ahead of you. How does it feel for you both to be nominated as Inspiring Women?
It's a massive privilege because obviously we didn't go into this in order to inspire. You don't step out to do anything with that sole aim of inspiring people. And when people get in touch with me and say, Heather, you're such an inspiration, you this, I'm like, I'm just Heather Glover. I don't know what I'm doing that's so special, but it's as though I've had breast cancer twice. I went through this with my sister-in-law and she didn't survive. And I think I'm here. I'm going to make a difference. And that's why I'm so passionate about the work I do with Prevent Breast Cancer, the charity, raising awareness. We've got to change things for the future. And talking about things, talking helped me when I was going through it. Listening to other people helped me. So I'm here to try and for the whole breast cancer and preventing breast cancer, and then for women to boost their confidence and positivity and self-love after they've been through something like breast cancer. I just feel, well, that's my purpose, really.
Well, congratulations to both you and Kate on your nomination.
Thank you.
And if I could invite our two other nominees in this category to the stage. From my first 5 years, representing Jenny Johnson, Alistair Bryce Clegg, and from K-Vors, Delight Mapasur. Bit of an insight, by the way, you've seen my lounge on those pre-records. Heather says that was her son's bedroom, and she made the most of it because it was one of the few times it was really tidy. So that's why she did the pre-record from there. Although, you do look like her son's bedroom.
Well, I was going to say something about curtains.
Well, yeah. Now I feel underdressed, you two. I mean, seriously. You got the big guns out. In more ways than one, D. How can I not start with you? So if you could pass the microphone over. You got upstaged, mate. I'm sorry about that.
As always.
Now, I'm going to try and do my best, but I am a woman of a certain age, and I have a tendency, as a publican's daughter, to get a bit bawdy sometimes, which is why I'm delighted to talk to Dee about sausages.
And I'm delighted to talk to you too.
I also want you to know that I have a South African brother-in-law who's addicted to your kind of product.
Is he?
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. He's not listening. So I can say lots of rude things about him. So let's start then. Dee, as you also like to be called, yeah?
Yes.
Happy with Dee?
Yes.
So Dee is from a small village in Zimbabwe
Yes.
called Uzumba.
That's right.
Fabulous name.
Thank you.
And you would go to school barefoot, which the sustainable shoe lady would be delighted at that. Because there's nothing to recycle. At 19, you came here as a refugee, am I right?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
That must have been a culture shock.
It was indeed, because where I come from, 19 is still considered very young. But when I got here, I found 19-year-olds with babies, dating, going out, and all that. I'm like, what the fuck?
I say that on a daily basis. So where did you come when you came as a refugee? Where did you come into? Did you come to Manchester?
So when I first arrived, the reality is when you come to the UK as a refugee, you're put in a camp. So I was stationed in a camp in Cambridgeshire, and then from there you get sorted like bread. You know, they look at you and they say you need to go up north, you go south, you go down south, you go there. That's what they do. So that is the reality. So I got sorted into south of the UK, into Hampshire. So I went to Portsmouth. I stayed in Portsmouth for about 4 or 5 years, and for those 4 or 5 years, I was only ever known by my Home Office reference number. So for those 4 or 5 years, I just basically forgot who I was, because everywhere that I went, we would go to the supermarket with these vouchers. So you take your voucher, and the first thing they would ask you was, what's your Home Office reference number? So they'll never ask your name, they'll never say hello to you. They'll ask you, as soon as you take out the voucher, they'll say, what's your Home Office reference number? So I was known by that number, and even the GPs, everywhere you went, they always wanted to know your Home Office reference number. For 5 years, I completely, totally lost my identity. So forgive me for coming out like this today. I'm just embracing
Never
who
apologize.
I am.
So, from Portsmouth,
Yeah.
I'd have sorted you as a northerner, don't worry. So, from Portsmouth, how did you end up here?
I met a guy.
Ah, that old story.
Yeah, so I met a guy and the rest is history.
You go, girl.
Yeah.
So, you're now in the north with a fella,
Yeah.
and I'm assuming you are still struggling to deal with the fact that you've left your home country
Yes.
and effectively your identity behind.
Mm-hmm.
Is that why you decided to try and do something that embraced your home culture?
Yes, I became so homesick. And normally when you're homesick, the first thing you think about is, the first thing you miss is the food where you come from. If it's your grandmother's cooking, your mother's cooking, or if it's just the beer down the road, the pub, it all tastes the same, but we all miss that something, there's a taste that we miss. So for me, it was the food that I missed the most. And, Africa meal times are a big deal. You would think there's something going on when it's meal times. We all come together, like the whole street comes together. And so when I came here and I'm trying to say hello to my neighbors, and they're looking at me weird, like, oh, what's she saying? And I'm like, oh, I'm just saying hello, I just found it really, really weird. And so I created my product as a way of bringing people together, as a way of sparking conversation.
Sausage will always spark conversation.
Sausage always does spark conversation, and sometimes it stops conversation.
Yeah.
But yeah,
It depends how bad the sausage is. I warned you. So, Kay Vos
yes.
was born.
So Kay Vos was born, and
Which is, for people who don't know, this is not your Wolves banger kind of thing. This is a dried, spiced.
so this is not your typical sausage. It is made with 3 different types of meat. So it's got beef, pork, and lamb. And we add imported South African spices into the products. And we don't add any any cereal, any fillers. So it's basically just meat and seasoning, and then put in a sausage casing. So you are getting what, some people would say, what sausages used to be before. Yeah. So when people talk about sausages as processed meat, we're saying this is an amazing product. It's not just a sausage. It's an amazing product.
So knowing that I have a South African brother-in-law who's addicted to boerewors, when I try things like dried meats, to me it was chewy.
Yes.
But yours is not. Yours it's almost melt in the mouth. Kind of
yes.
They're all very different, aren't they?
They're all very different. So we have the dried meat and we have the chilled the chilled product. So we make the chilled product, and we are moving into the dried products in the next 2-3 years as part of our innovation products. So we will be moving into the chilled products where we do like seasoned steak and sliced into, thin slices for all the protein lovers and stuff. So ours is just your typical sausage. It's fresh, it's chilled, but it's just how a sausage is supposed to be. Just perfect. Right size, right serving.
I've never known a perfect sausage.
Yeah, just perfect.
No, I've never known a perfect
All the ladies
sausage.
understand. You all know what I'm talking about, right?
If you want a perfect sausage, you know where to go now.
If you want a perfect sausage, you know where to go.
I'm so sorry. It had to happen. It was going to happen at some stage. So apart from expanding the range, what's next for you?
We are working really hard on export. So we've started exporting to the UAE. We're speaking to markets in India and South Korea. And very soon I'm going to be setting up back home in Zimbabwe, where I come from. I've got hopes to set up a production factory over there and teach the girls out there how to make a proper sausage.
I'm not going to rise to that bait. Just for a change. Dee, thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, how are we going to follow that
Alistair.
one? How will I add to the sausage conversation? I'll do my best.
So Alistair is representing Jenny Johnson, who can't be with us today. So let's get the serious head on and move away from sausage. Tell us about my first 5 years, because I can really relate to the dilemma that led to the setting up of this app.
So I've known Jenny for well over a decade now, so primarily in her old business, which was Kids Allowed, where I met going in and working with her as a consultant. And then during lockdown, Jenny had a family member that sent her a video of, because nobody was seeing anybody, and basically said, "Oh, look, here's my baby, aren't they cute?" And Jenny went, "Well, they are really cute, but did you know when they're doing that, and when they do that, that means that, and actually, when they're doing that, this is probably going to happen next." And that parent went, "Bloody hell, that's amazing. I just thought they were cute. Can I send you videos on a daily basis? Will you tell me the things that I should be noticing?" Because of course, as parents, we all feel that paranoia about, is my child on track? Are they doing the right thing? Am I a good parent, or I'm going to get a crap parent award? So Jenny and I had a conversation over lockdown, and we decided that if we could put into parents' hands a little bit of the childcare knowledge and expertise that we had, that it could be a really joyful thing where we could get rid of some of the stress, get rid of some of the paranoia that parents have, and really enable them to have some joy and see the small steps in their child development and stop worrying about what somebody on Instagram is doing with their perfect child in their perfect outfit, or that annoying woman down the street who clearly, comes to the baby group and just does the things that are going to annoy you. So the whole premise behind the app is to try.
That was probably me.
Yeah.
Actually, wasn't it? It was my late husband, because I was at work.
Yeah, well, we've all had that person. So the kind of what's behind the app is giving parents a bit of knowledge about their child's development, letting them walk with their child and celebrate it. And we don't do that thing that says by 3 months your child should be, because we know scientifically that doesn't stack up, and it just makes us feel crap. You're either going, yes, my child's a genius, in your face, all you with children who haven't crawling yet, or you're literally saying, my child should be crawling, what am I not doing?
That was the problem with me, because I was working, I was reading a lot of books.
Yes.
And my late mum, God bless her, used to go mad if I picked up Dr. Miriam Stoppard. Because I said, well, no, she says he should be doing this now. Well, she doesn't know him, does she?
Yeah.
And that's basically what the app is. It's getting to know the child.
Well, one of our users said that their mother had said to them, read the baby, not the book. And that's the key phrase. Because if you are in tune with your child, and as a parent, you know when you feel it's going right and you know when you feel it's going wrong. But I often say, I've got 3 lads now in their 20s. My first one walked at 11 months. We all high-fived each other. We'd got a genius child walking at 11 months. The second one didn't walk till 18 months, at which point we were crying and going to the doctor. They're both in their 20s now. I mean, they don't walk a lot. They just veg in bed most of the time. But they can walk, they can play football. I mean, obviously there are things where parents will be concerned, but for most children, for most of those milestones, they will reach them in their own time. And if we can help you as a parent not panic, that's what we want to do.
Which an unpanicked parent leads to a happy child.
Exactly.
So my first 5 years has been going only for a couple of years.
Yes.
So in less than the 5 years, they've won 5 awards,
Yes.
which is not bad going.
Yeah, and most of them won by Jenny. So what she likes to do is take me with her to award ceremony so I can watch her
Oh,
win
she
awards.
just rolls you out, does she?
Yeah, so today she said, off you go.
You're the eye candy.
Yeah, you have to be, really? That's a
Gotta
shame
make up
for the
for the
ladies in the
curtains
room.
reference.
Yeah. Thanks for the one clap from the gent with a beard.
But in
Yes.
addition to the app, you've got a podcast as well.
We have a podcast, which is the My First 5 Years podcast. We obviously have Instagram, Facebook, and the app. And really, we are on a mission to try and change children's childhoods one parent at a time, because it can be a horrendously toxic space being a parent. If we knew then what we know now, basically, if you haven't had children, don't bother, is my advice. So 3 adult children on, when you think actually when they get bigger, the problems will get smaller because they'll become independent and look after you, it's a fallacy. They get bigger, the problems get bigger, the requirement for money gets bigger. So the idea is if we can help parents to enjoy the parent experience, take away some of the guilt, give them some of that knowledge, then we will all be a happy society for it.
Sounds like a good thing. Alistair, thank you very much.
You're welcome.
And the winner is Jenny Johnson.
Just to say, I just literally sat down and said, I am never going to beat these sausages. And then we did. On behalf of Jenny, she can't be here today, and she really wanted to be. And the reason she can't is because one of her children is really poorly. As I said, I've worked with Jenny for over a decade, and now she is what she refers to as my work wife, which is, to be fair, just like being married without any of the good bits. Literally, argue about the finance, argue about the team, argue about everything. But when I have heard Jenny speak, which I have on multiple occasions because she keeps winning awards, one of the things she talks about a lot is the fact that often as a woman she is expected to juggle a whole host of balls and keep them up in the air. And she reached a point in her life where she made a really conscious decision that actually it's not about juggling balls. Sometimes for her, it's about actually consciously taking some of those balls and putting them down, because there is no expectation, or you shouldn't put yourselves through the angst of feeling like you have to do that. And to be fair, she's one for practicing what she preaches, because today what she's done is to put some of those balls down to go and focus on something else, which is her family. So this is for Jenny. She's an amazing person. Thank you very much.